Welcome to the Advancing Entrepreneur. This show is all about surrounding yourself for success. Hear stories of building traction, gaining acceleration, and creating results from successful entrepreneurs who have surrounded themselves with other successful entrepreneurs. And now, here's your host, Annette Nightingale James.
Hello, Advancing Entrepreneurs. Annette Nightingale James back here with you today for another episode of the Advancing Entrepreneur Show, where we help you get traction, acceleration, and results in your business. This morning, we are joined by my friend and fellow mastermind member, Brian Hahn. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Annette.
Good morning. Brian Hahn is with Go Social Experts, a social media marketing company who works with businesses across the country. Brian, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your business.
Sure. Where I spend most of my time, I've got a few different businesses. Where I spend most of my time is with Go Social Experts, and we help businesses basically make money with social media. We do that everywhere from consulting to coaching. We are starting a group coaching program or one-to-one coaching, training, and we have a product that we sell, smart Facebook marketing, and then we also manage people's social media for them. Everything from daily posting to paid pay-per-click type work.
So, wow, very cool, very cool. There's a lot to know about it.
There is a lot.
I'm sure. So, Brian, tell us, I want you to share with our audience, before we jump into a little bit more about you and your business, what motivates and inspires you every day in your entrepreneurial journey?
Actually, what does is actually helping other businesses grow, seeing them succeed. That's one of the things that I really like about the business that I'm in, is that I get to work with different businesses and help them do better. There's a lot of opportunity there that most people don't know about. They know there's opportunity there. They don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to harness it, right? And it can get overwhelming too, right?
It is. And to be fair, I spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week involved in social media, in the social media industry, and it changes fast. I mean, I can have a meeting with somebody on Friday or any day of the week, and the next day I'll go in to show someone else something, and it changed since the day before in less than 24 hours. So keeping up with it all is a full-time job. So if you're running a business besides that, you're not going to be able to keep up with it all.
So very good. Well, that's where you come in. So that's all good.
Yes.
Well, tell us what led you to this business. How did you get started with Go Social?
We got started with Go Social Experts. I was using it in another business of my own that I owned, and we decided to we were having some success with it, and so we branched out and we offered our services to other people, other businesses using it.
So did you have people asking you, how are you doing that, or anything, or were you just like, hey, this is cool, we can help other people, or were people specifically asking you for it? We actually came out and said it was cool. We were helping other people. We were doing it. The industry that we were using it in wasn't well known for using social media, and we hadn't gotten a lot. When we would talk to people about it, they go, oh, that's really cool. And so we got a lot of feedback from people that are wanting to do it, but they didn't know where to get started and how to do it. We're like, well, we've done all that already. We can do that. So we went out and got started doing that. So that's about 2.5 years ago we started that. Wow. Yeah. No, I think it's interesting that when you're kind of doing something for yourself or your business and something that you're just doing, and then other people are like, oh, that's interesting. If you hear that repeatedly, there might be something to that. So yes. I think that's really neat. So, well, Brian, I want you to share with our audience now, how do you surround yourself with other successful entrepreneurs in your business? It's important for us all to kind of plug in and have that support system. So tell us, how are you doing that for yourself?
Okay. I do it a couple different ways. What happened was, I'll go back just a little bit. I mean, I've worked with my family and people that were close to me for quite a while in different industries. When I moved to this industry, I lost that support group because they don't know when I start talking about the marketing stuff, they kind of glaze over, and that's not what they want to do. So I've done two different ways. One, I've joined a group outside of the area. We get together from across the country, peak performers. We get together 4 times a year from around the country, and we meet with entrepreneurs there, which it's an extremely valuable event or occasion. It goes over a couple days, so we get to meet together in the meetings, and then also afterwards in the hallways for supper at night, in the bar after supper. There's lots of conversation and lots of information for that. And then the other way that I get information is I've actually got a small mastermind in town that we've got together. There's 2 other business people and myself that get together when I'm in town, and we talk about each other's business and work that out once a week.
So very cool.
Very cool.
So you said you kind of noticed when you switched industries at this, so as you weren't able to kind of talk to people or anything, was there any particular point or turning point for you when you're like, oh, I need to go plug in with somebody else? Did something in particular happen, or were you just feeling like there was something missing that you were looking to fill?
Nothing dramatic. What was happening is that I need people to bounce ideas off of and to get other ideas from. And without that ability to bounce off of people, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to get. I mean, I knew I could do better than what I was doing, and I was looking to improve that. So I had to figure out how to make that happen. So that's when I moved into the other. I reached outside to find the other groups.
So very cool. Yeah, I think having that sounding wall is really important, and getting it from people who can understand and appreciate where you're coming from is great. That is really one of the biggest beautiful things about a mastermind group, and why I'm crazy passionate about it. So tell us, since you joined the mastermind group, whether it's the national one that you and I actually belong to together, or if it's even one of your local ones, or any other kind of live event that you go to, will you share with our audience kind of when you had one of the light bulb moments that kind of was, it could have been just like a little pivot or shift, or it could have been a really big idea that you're like, oh, that's why I'm here. That's what I needed to hear today.
Sure. There's one of the ones that kind of on top of my mind is I developed a product and worked with I developed the product Smart Facebook Marketing. I'd done it for a specific industry. And I was looking to use that in a different industry or use it differently. And I was at a mastermind group at the table. Actually, you might have been at that table when we were talking about moving it to and I've also owned some restaurants. So we decided to take that product that we were developing for Facebook marketing and move it to target it towards the quick service restaurant industry instead of a more general, broader audience. And it was just like, oh, that would be so easy to do. And it was just something that was just didn't see it. It was too close. So
right, kind of one of those blind spots.
Right. Yes, very much so. And that's what we have. That's why it's called a blind spot, is because we don't see it, obviously. So
that's very good. Yeah, no, I think that's a really great lesson. There's two there, right? It's that you can there can be something really good right in front of you, and if you don't have people around you who are actively helping you and looking for those things, those opportunities can slide right by you. And I have no doubt that I have opportunities like flying by me every day because, for the most part, I'm still working in my business. But when you get outside of your business and you get to those things, it can be like, oh my gosh, that was right there the whole time. And the second lesson from that, I think, is that you can take something and niche it to a different industry.
Yes.
And the people in that industry are going to be like, oh, that's for me. That's what I need. That's what I need. So there's no shortage right now of Facebook trainings out there. In fact, it's almost overwhelming. You kind of wonder which ones are good. But if somebody said, so we're doing the Advancing Entrepreneur show. So if somebody said, here is social media for a show, I'd be like, oh, well, then that must be for me.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we're looking at approaching it for. So.
Yep. So I think it's a fantastic way. You can take your expertise and niche it to different industries and make it a no-brainer for them, and also, make yourself the expert in those industries. So I think that's fantastic. So Brian, tell us, what are you up to now? What projects are you working on? What do you want to share with our audience?
As far as
anything that's going on in your business that you want to get the word out on.
What we're working on doing is developing the product for the quick service industry. We're also looking at, and we don't have this ready to go, this is a couple months out yet, we're looking at developing a group coaching program where to keep up with all the changes that are ongoing changes on a monthly basis, that we're going to get that up and going. And then one of the biggest things that we're working with several of our clients is how to effectively move people from Facebook or from a Facebook ad or Facebook audience to get them onto your email list, get them onto your website, and get other ways to connect with them besides the Facebook audience.
Yeah, I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's really key, right? I mean, there's one thing to have, I have the Advancing Entrepreneur page as of today. By the time this hits the audience, it'll be a little bit bigger, but I think we're at about 3,200, but that doesn't mean that I have 3,200 people actively listening to me every day. So tell us a little bit about why it's key. Just if there's somebody in the audience that's wondering, why is it key to move them from Facebook to your own email marketing list?
Well, there's a couple different reasons. The first one is that the email addresses are yours forever. I mean, if Facebook changes rules, if something happens, you've still got another way to connect with people. You should never have only one way to connect with people, which is also why you want your people on your email list to be on your Facebook page. They don't necessarily, and also from your email list, they don't always open your email. From your Facebook page, they won't always see you. So, I mean, it makes both of them stronger for that. So those are both two huge parts right there about why you want to make that happen.
Cool. Very, very good tips right here from our own Go social media expert today. All right, cool. Brian, I want to give the audience a chance to get to know you a little bit better. So
Sure.
I want to start I want to play a little speed round with you here called Playing Favorites.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. Playing Favorites, question 1.
Sure.
What is your favorite charity?
I've got two that I support pretty actively. One is Special Olympics and one is Boy Scouts.
So very good, very good. So I think we're just gonna bite the bullet and join Boy Scouts in my house. The kids, my boys have been asking for it for a while, and I'm kind of in a place where I have a little bit more time to do it now. So we're gonna be right there. Pretty
It's a wonderful experience. Do it.
good. Okay.
For both you and them.
Luck. So I think my husband's more scared of camping outside than I am. So this should be really interesting.
It will be more interesting, but it's a good thing. You'll have fun, and so will they.
Okay, cool. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. This is one that I ran across. I've got a couple of them, but the one that I ran across is that there is no failure. There's either success or a learning experience.
Perfect. I love it. What is your favorite discovery? Do you have an app or a resource that you want to share with our audience? I'm sure you have a bunch of them. So
I have a bunch of them. One of the ones that I've actually embraced after a few years of playing with a little bit is Evernote. Has actually become an extremely powerful and useful tool that I use regularly.
So very cool. Very good. What is your favorite song? Particularly, do you have one that you listen to get all pumped up?
Let's see. I didn't think about it that way. I looked at my favorite song currently. We tend to listen to country music, country or classic rock that we would listen to. So favorite current song would be Tim McGraw's new one, Shotgun Rider, but I don't know about to get pumped up. I'd have to think back. So that one I don't have off the top of my head.
Okay, no problem. What is your favorite business book?
7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey's book from just 25 years ago or so.
Classic.
Yes.
Absolutely. In fact, I was looking through some books, asking all these questions now. So I was looking through some books and I actually found that exact book. And I was like, I think it's time for me to reread that. So very good. Brian,
Yes.
What is one piece of advice that you as yourself today would like to give that version of yourself that was just getting started in business? What would you say?
One is I would look for support outside of my company and entity. I would look sooner because it was probably almost 10 years in business before I actually looked for mastermind groups or a coach of any kind. So that's the first thing that I would have done. The other thing I would do is I would implement faster. I wouldn't spend as much time studying and learning, and I would actually implement it faster than what I do or did.
Cool. Yeah, 2 excellent pieces of advice. Brian, share with our audience where they can connect with you, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay. The best place to get a hold of me is at gosocialexperts.com. You'll find that contact us form right there, which will send me an email for it. So that would be your best place to find me. Again, gosocialexperts.com.
So very cool. And Brian's going to send us the link to his website and let us know where we can connect with him. And we're going to post the resources that he shared with us today on his show notes page on the website. So audience, go to iamadvancing.com, hit up Brian in the search bar. His show notes page is going to pop up, and we're going to have everything listed there that he shared with us today, as well as where you can find him. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today and to help our audience advance.
Sure. You're welcome. Was glad to be here.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Advancing Entrepreneur. If you enjoyed it, leave us a rating and review. Not only will it make our day, you'll also be helping others find this show and advance their own careers. Once you're done, be sure to head on over to iamadvancing.com and join our community to learn what it takes to be an advancing entrepreneur and surround yourself for success. Thanks again, and get ready to advance.